Okay, hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel, and today we're going to be discussing 4 simple steps to reducing your fatigue and increasing energy as soon as even next week. Now, I'm going to wait just a little bit to help people get onto the webinar because I know that there was a lot of people that were excited about it. I've been getting emails all day and actually all this week. So I just want to spend a couple of more seconds to let people get on just in case they're running late. Because there's always a few people that are running late, right? Now I just want to make sure that everyone has a chance at hearing what I've got to say. And on that note, I'm really happy that all of you are here, and I promise I'm not going to hold anything back. You see, my goal today is to be able to share with you some valuable health gems that I know can radically change your life. You see, the information that I'm about to share has impacted hundreds of people that I've personally treated and hundreds more that I've never personally met, but I know have gone through the steps that I'm about to discuss with you today. I want you to know that all of that is possible if you take action on the information that I'm about to share with you. So this leads me to my promise. My promise to you is that I'm going to show you exactly how to increase your energy and slash your fatigue so you can enjoy more time with family and friends and never have to wake up tired or miss out on any fun activities ever again. In fact, if you stay until the end, I'm going to be giving you one of my most popular guides, the 7 Steps to Better Sleep, where hundreds of my patients have told me that this guide alone has helped them to dial in on their sleep and optimizing rest. But before we begin, I need your attention. Please turn off your cell phones, stay off social media sites like Facebook and Instagram or Pinterest. Look, if you're someone who has low energy or experiences fatigue, then please take this serious so you can get the results that you know you deserve. Look, we've all been to the gym, right? Or maybe took a class, and there's always 2 types of people that you're going to run into at the gym or in these classes. The first is that person who shows up but doesn't really participate. They don't ask questions, or they don't even bother to learn how to use the machines or take advantage of all the information that's being presented. And then you've got the other person who actually shows up and asks how to use the equipment. They want to know all the extra training sessions, right? When they're happening, what's going on, when's the extra tutoring happening. Who do you think is going to get more out of it? Of course, the second person. So let's all commit to staying engaged during this time that we're going to be sharing, and let's commit to taking action. Does that sound good? All right. Now let's talk a little bit about who I am. My name is Dr. Daniel, and I'm a functional medicine physician in Austin, Texas. I have a Bachelor of Science degrees in biology, chemistry, and nursing. I have postgraduate training in neuroscience and biochemistry, and I was actually about a year away from getting my PhD when I decided that I didn't want to work in a lab or be a lab rat anymore. In fact, what really happened is that I started observing that my entire family was getting sick. And even though that they were taking all the drugs, right, all the drugs that their doctors told them to take, even though they were doing all the stuff their doctors told them to do, they weren't getting any healthier. So I realized that the same products that I was helping to create was not really creating health. And that's when I became passionate, even obsessed with the body's ability to heal itself. So I left my graduate program in pursuit of a doctorate in chiropractic medicine. And since then, I've become a certified functional medicine physician. I've been published in numerous health trade journals, and I currently operate one of the largest natural health centers in Central Texas. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about you. Imagine what your life is going to be like when you have so much energy that you start enjoying your time with family and friends again. Imagine what your life would be like when you never have to feel bad about coming home and not having the energy to play with your kids. Or how about never having to worry about waking up tired when you know that you've got a full day ahead of you? What would it be like when you finally know what's causing your fatigue and, more importantly, how you can get rid of it? In fact, what kind of difference do you think that would make for you and your family? Whether that's 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, can you imagine the type of productivity, your professional life, your personal life? What kinds of things would increased energy result in for you? I know that it would dramatically change you because I've personally consulted with over 1,200 people and I've seen it happen myself. I've seen this happen in just a matter of a few weeks even. In fact, here's what Jill had to say. No doubt, fatigue becomes daunting to live with. But thanks to Dr. D, he took my lack of motivation and doubts away with sound advice and the help that I needed. He covered everything I needed to get well. And I am now in a completely different place mentally and physically. And Dr. D had such a big hand in that. I don't know what I would have done without his knowledge, advice, and help. Even though we have never met, Dr. D has a special place in my heart. Thank you. Sandra is somebody who was actually fighting breast cancer prior to me meeting her, and she was experiencing serious fatigue whenever I first started talking with her. And here's what she had to say. When I found Dr. D, I was already midstream in my healing process with breast cancer. By the time I met him, my energy was completely zapped and I had no other options. I had done every diet, all the detoxes, the de-stressing and therapy, but I still needed to do more. With Dr. D's help, I followed a protocol which resulted in success. He is a kind, gentle, and full of knowledge. And then there's Debbie. And Debbie is someone who actually knew a lot about natural medicine, and she still does. And she knew so much about natural healing, but never actually was able to organize it properly. And here's what she had to say. The 4 essentials that Dr. Daniel laid out for me have positively impacted my life. I became so aware of basic elements like reducing my toxic exposure and learning about easy saliva and urine tests to improve my health and actually see his methods working. Because of Dr. Daniel, I am a remarkably happier, healthier person. I can never thank him enough for such a transforming effect on my life. He is the best. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have hundreds of these testimonials, and I don't show them to make myself look good. I show them because I want you to know that it's possible. I want you to know what's possible. In fact, any patient of mine who knows me knows that I never take credit when someone gets well. And I actually hear it quite a bit. I hear a lot of thank yous, right? People come up to me and say, thank you for helping me. And I am really quick to just respond by saying, no, thank yourself. Because I really do believe, you see, you are your best doctor, and I won't ever take credit when you get better, but at the same time, I'm not going to take credit when you don't. So I need you to understand that, yes, these results are not typical. I'll walk you through the system, right? I'm going to share with you a lot of information tonight that we're using to get the results that we get, but understand that anything worthwhile is going to take effort. And also please understand that my results are not typical because the average person who attends any of these trainings or these webinars will get 0 results because the truth is, most people simply don't take action. However, I'm still happy to share with you for free exactly what's working for these people, and I know that if you take action, you're not going to regret it. So this is not just some health infomercial that promises the whole world. I guarantee you that this is an opportunity for anyone interested in increasing their energy and vitality in a sound and proven way. In fact, I'm going to be laying out for you 15 specific reasons or steps that must absolutely be addressed if you're experiencing low energy or fatigue. And even though we won't have a chance to get into every single one of those, I'm going to be sharing with you some information that I know can have a dramatic difference in how you feel and dramatically increasing your energy. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Here's what we're going to be covering. Secret number 1. First, we have to address the big elephant in the room. Secret number 2, we're then going to go and discuss nutrient and hormone deficiencies that are known to cause energy deficiencies or drive you into fatigue. And then secret number 3, where we'll be talking about toxicities, chronic infections. These are things that almost every doctor misses. And even when you have natural medicine doctors who try to help out with this, they're still not doing the right stuff. And then we have secret number 4, where we're going to get into brain boosting and the all-important energy-producing bacteria that you must feed properly in order to increase your energy. So let's get started. Secret number 1, the elephant in the room. I like discussing the elephant in the room because it's exactly what solves the problem for almost 40% of my chronic fatigue patients. Now, what is an elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is that thing that everyone knows is present, but simply ignores or doesn't want to consider it. And when it comes to fatigue or low energy, the elephant in the room is absolutely beginning with the basics, or what I call foundational health principles. So secret number 1 is foundations of health. Now, I realize that many of you already have a solid foundational health program. All that means is that you've got to continue addressing the other factors that we're going to be discussing in a few moments. But that said, and after successfully treating over 10,000 people with fatigue, I absolutely know that many people are simply skipping this step. The 5 most common factors that are missed include sleep, dehydration, food toxins, lack of exercise or movement, and not addressing emotional stress or traumas. So again, if you want to reverse your fatigue and dramatically increase energy levels, we need to fix your sleep. We need to fix your dehydration. You absolutely must eliminate food toxins and install an emotional health building program. Like I said, there are 15 steps to getting yourself better, and we cannot proceed to the other 10 unless we address these at the core. Now, for the purpose of this webinar, we're only going to be discussing one, which is sleep. I always begin treating sleep problems by identifying potential causes and then, of course, removing the cause. So naturally, the first step is to perform a sleep inventory to identify potential issues related to your sleep hygiene, which are the habits and practices that actually result in good sleep. So here's an example of my sleep inventory. How many of these can you answer yes to? Do you go to bed after 11 p.m.? Do you get less than 7 hours of sleep per night? Do you feel tired during the day and wired, meaning you have more energy at night? Do you have a monkey mind, where the stress of the day is keeping your brain going and preventing you from shutting it down? Do you startle easily? Do you go to bed and wake up at different times on weekdays than on the weekends? Do you read or watch TV in bed? Do you discuss stimulating topics an hour or two before bedtime? Do you get into heated discussions late in the evening? Do you consume B vitamins, caffeine, or alcohol after dinner? Do you consume caffeine after 9 a.m.? Do you stay awake after 10 p.m., even after your body says that it's time to sleep? Do you snore, or does your partner snore? And then finally, do you have pets or young children that awaken you during the night? Look, if the answer is yes to any of the questions, then there's a good chance that your sleep quality may be significantly improved using proven sleep hygiene strategies. Improving your sleep hygiene is the least expensive and most important thing that you can do. So here's a simple checklist of the things that you should consider to actually optimize your sleep. Number 1 is your sleep window. Now, sleep windows are very important because most people, you see, they get this idea where they just randomly fall asleep. Your sleep window is the ideal time to go to sleep every day. And for most of us, it's between 9 and 10:30 p.m. So it's helpful to go to bed during this window every single night, even on the weekends, to consistently get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And if you get a second wind, right, the energy that keeps us awake after previously feeling tired, you know you've missed your sleep window. What I found is that if you're not asleep by 10:30 p.m. on a consistent basis, you're just not going to be able to resolve your fatigue. Also, sleep cycles. As adults, we have 1.5 to 2 hour sleep cycles while we sleep. So this is the time that our sleep becomes lighter and we transition into another phase of sleep. So if you have a 1.5 hour sleep cycle, you're going to wake up feeling rested when you go to bed at 10:30 and wake up at 6. This is a 7.5 hours of sleep in 5 1.5 hour sleep cycles. If you have a 2 hour sleep cycle, then when you wake up feeling rested, it's basically when you go to bed at 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m. This is 8 hours of sleep in 4 2-hour sleep cycles. So what I'd like you to do is pay attention to how you feel after awakening from a 1.5 hour sleep cycle versus a 2-hour sleep cycle, and then try to adjust your sleep and wake times accordingly. Rise and shine. So here's where we need to talk about going to bed and waking up at the same time every morning and evening, including the weekends. And this is regardless of how well you can actually fall asleep. And I know it's hard, but the first step is actually to train your brain and train your body to get into this rhythm of rise and shine. Bedroom activities. The bedroom should be reserved for only sleep and sex. Reading and watching TV ideally should be done in a different room. However, some people can read in their bedrooms before bed without an issue. Just make sure that you're thinking about this. Napping. Napping during the day is really not ideal, and it's a sign that your circadian rhythms are off and your adrenal glands are probably compromised. If you feel the need to rest during the day, try to lie down without actually falling asleep and set a 15-minute timer. I know that helps. My patients find that as their adrenal function improves, they no longer have the need to nap. Exercise. Now, of course, we all know that exercise can be beneficial for sleep, and some people actually sleep better when they exercise in the morning, whereas others sleep better exercising just before bed. The reality is that you have to experiment and do what works best for you. Foods. Unstable blood sugar levels can interfere with your sleep. So consuming protein every 2 to 3 hours during the day and right before bed can help prevent a blood sugar dip at night, which can trigger cortisol surges that delay sleep or awaking you during the night. This is a great trick if you're actually waking between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Stimulants. Of course, we need to reduce or eliminate altogether overall caffeine intake and refrain from consuming coffee and other caffeinated beverages after 9 a.m. Caffeine can last up to 20 hours in the body. It also whips the adrenal glands into producing more cortisol, which then makes adrenal fatigue much worse. Electronics. This has become a huge factor in today's day and age. We need to stop screen time 1 to 2 hours before bed. These devices emit blue light and actually trick your brain into thinking it's daytime. So try to get a blue light blocker for your computer and your phone or any smart device that you have. Lighting. Your body knows what time it is based on its exposure to light. So make sure that your days are full of sunlight and your nights are absent of light. Sleep in complete darkness. This helps to regulate the pineal gland, your circadian rhythms, and melatonin production. If a nightlight is needed for navigation, then install one with yellow, orange, or red light, as these wavelengths do not disrupt your sleep. Remember, no blue light. That's what we're trying to decrease. Comfort and temperature. Of course, you need to be making sure that your bed is comfortable. Additionally, the most important thing to consider is going to be the temperature that you set for your house, right? So thermoregulation. Keeping the bed between 60 and 69 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Stress. Develop a relaxing bedtime routine. Create a stress-free environment after dinner, which means no arguing or watching scary movies. If you're experiencing stress, then you should really consider finding a counselor or health coach knowledgeable in mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques, or maybe even consider emotional freedom techniques. The mindfulness-based stress reduction program can actually be found online. Pets. If pets interrupt your sleep, then you need to keep them out of the bedroom at night. Look, I love animals and I know your animals will adjust, and so will you. Your sleep is just that important. EMFs, or electromagnetic fields. This is really a big problem now, especially if it's in your bedroom, with our wireless computers, our wireless phones, right? Even our smart TVs that are wireless. All of these signals can disrupt the pineal gland and its melatonin production. So ideally, you're going to be turning off wireless routers, computers, and cell phones for the night. Even the electrical panels, fuses that control the bedroom, this stuff can be shut down at night to reduce electrical background noise. Now, when should you get out of bed? If you can't sleep, staying in bed can be frustrating and typically raises anxiety. So instead, after 30 minutes of not sleeping, get up, turn the lights on or not at all, listen to soft music or read a book, and then return to bed when you start to feel sleepy again. If you're reading a book on your phone, make sure you have a blue light blocker. Snoring or morning headaches. Finally, if you snore or experience morning headaches, consider getting a sleep study to rule out sleep apnea. If apnea is confirmed, then you're going to have to ask your doctor about a dental appliance, breathe right nasal strips, or even a CPAP machine to improve the flow of oxygen during sleep. Low oxygen levels at night and increased pressure from snoring are going to decrease the quality of sleep and can lead to other medical issues such as high blood pressure, headaches, lung and heart problems. Another thing is that chronic sinus problems can also play a role, and that's something that should be evaluated. Okay, so here's action step number 1. If you have sleep problems and need to optimize your sleep hygiene, I would recommend adding one sleep hygiene strategy every week. I can honestly say that more than 80% of my patients who do this start to experience optimal sleep in as little as 4 weeks. So pick one from the list and simply make it a goal to stick with it every week, and every week here on out, keep adding another goal. Okay, moving on. Secret number 2. Nutrition and hormone deficiencies. Did you know that more than 90% of chronic disease and illness is related to nutrient deficiencies? This is just amazing to think about how much food that Americans consume, yet at the same time, we're malnourished, meaning we're not getting the nutrients that we need in order to stay healthy. So after we address the elephant in the room and get our foundational health principles in check, the next 5 steps include addressing nutritional and hormonal deficiencies. The specific steps in this area include 1. Nutritional deficiencies, 2. fixing the adrenal glands, 3, fixing thyroid hormones, 4, fixing sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone and progesterone, and then finally, addressing the digestive system. Again, to get into all of this is just too much information for the purposes of this webinar, but I want to talk about the most common nutritional deficiencies that I've personally found in my patients. There was a time when nutrient deficiencies were not an issue for humans, but because of changes in our diet and stress, we live in a time where we must replace nutrients, otherwise we suffer the consequences of ill health, including fatigue. Now, the 5 most common nutrient deficiencies that I've found in my patient population of fatigue patients includes vitamin B12, vitamin D, magnesium, folate, and iron. Now, assessing nutrient status is now something that can be done very easily using blood chemistry panels, but I want to warn you, simply ordering a vitamin B12 test or a vitamin D study is not going to be enough to determine whether you have enough of that particular vitamin in your blood. You need to have a doctor who understands how to properly read these tests, because oftentimes they just miss it. And this is a very important concept to understand, because normal is not optimal, especially when you're looking at your blood chemistry for these vitamins. There are certain calculations that you have to consider in order to figure this out. But if you have fatigue or low energy, I'd highly recommend getting tested for the top 5 most common nutrient deficiencies that I just discussed. Secret number 3, addressing toxins and chronic infections. A big problem that I see with the population is that most people who think or feel tired are actually just toxic. Addressing toxicity or toxic load in humans, including chronic or latent infections, is an often missed and largely unrecognized factor when it comes to low energy and fatigue. Even when doctors try to address it, they simply tell their patients to do a juice fast or some kind of cleanse. But that won't cut it. To truly detox your body, you've got to know, 1, what are you toxic to begin with? And then number 2, how can you eliminate it from your body? Because different toxins or different infections or different parasites require different types of treatments. And I guarantee you a juice fast is not going to do it. Or taking some herb for your liver is not going to do it. The top 5 factors in eliminating toxicities and chronic infections include fixing constipation, fixing mold problems, addressing heavy metals and environmental chemicals, healing silent gut infections, and then addressing electromagnetic frequencies. Let's address constipation, because let's face it, if your body is not eliminating waste material, then you're quickly becoming a toxic dump. When you're constipated, waste products that should be eliminated are actually reabsorbed into the bloodstream and can cause a major toxic burden for your body. Now, the main causes of constipation that I've found in my patient population include hypothyroidism, infections in the gut, magnesium deficiencies, probiotic imbalances, or the imbalances of good versus bad bacteria in your gut, food allergies, dehydration, lack of movement, poor diet, poor toilet positioning, stress, and autoimmune conditions. If you want to address constipation, then I'd recommend starting at the top of this list and then working your way down to troubleshooting what's actually causing it. Now, that said, for more than 60% of my patients, this action step works best. If you're experiencing constipation or you're not getting 2 healthy bowel movements every day, then I'd like you to start taking 1,200 milligrams of magnesium citrate per day, and then slowly increase that number by 200 milligrams every day until your motility improves. Also start taking a good probiotic that contains more than 20 billion bacteria per dose. Another thing is to drink half your body weight in water, and then increase your fiber intake. And regardless of your ability to go to the bathroom, I want you to start going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet and staying there for a decent amount of time every day, and keep it a routine. And if you do those things, again, more than 60% of my patients that incorporate this strategy start getting regular bowel movements in just a few days. Now let's talk about secret number 4, how to transform every cell in your body to become energy-producing factories. Did you know that every single cell in your body contains tiny bacteria that actually help to create energy that you in turn use? These single cell structures are called mitochondria, and they are known as the body's energy generators. According to the United Mitochondrial Disease Foundation, mitochondria are responsible for creating more than 90% of the energy needed to sustain the human body, but about 75% of their job is actually dedicated to other important cellular processes besides energy production. These include growth and development from the time of infancy, bodily functions like digestion, cognitive processes like the ability to calculate and remember things, and then maintaining cardiovascular and heartbeat rhythms. Now, diet determines the energy made in the mitochondria. And if we do not have an adequate supply of healthy fats, which is the preferred energy source for these bacteria, these mitochondria, carbohydrates and proteins to feed them, then you're going to experience fatigue. Mitochondria also have their own DNA or their own genetic material. Remember, these are tiny little microorganisms that exist within our cells. And this DNA gets damaged by nutrient deficiencies, toxins, and even pharmaceutical medications. These toxins include the usual suspects that we've already discussed. This includes heavy metals, chemicals, molds, infections, emotions, and electromagnetic frequencies. And this is all very important to note because often other doctors will treat the usual suspects to resolution and yet wonder why their patient is still fatigued, and it's because the mitochondria have not been repaired. So the important thing to consider here is that we need to repair your mitochondria, right? And that's the action step that I want you to focus on. Or is what are the things that you can do to start repairing your mitochondria? Quick question. Are all of you enjoying the webinar so far? If so, just let me know. I just want some feedback here. Just write in the comment section whether or not you're enjoying this and give me some feedback, and I'll just give you some time here. Okay. Awesome. Amy says it's great. George is loving it. Chris says, give me more, give me more. That's great. Okay, Jonathan, I see you. You say hi, loving it. Michelle, hi, awesome. Okay, good info. Okay, good. Great. I'm glad you guys are all digging it. All right, let's recap. Okay, let's recap. So far, we've talked about the 4 secrets to driving up energy. Secret number 1, addressing the elephant in the room. Secret number 2, fixing nutrient deficiencies and hormone imbalances. Secret number 3, removing toxins and killing infections or parasites. And then secret number 4, boosting your bacterial energy-producing mitochondria. Now, remember, we only covered a very small portion of what is required to actually overcome fatigue as a whole. And I wish I could make it simple, but it's not. In fact, there are 15 specific steps that anyone who experiences low energy or fatigue should go through in order to fully treat themselves and resolve their low energy. Here's a list of what is required. Remember that I like to break this down or organize it into 4 different sections, right? So we start off with number 1, the elephant in the room, the foundational health principles that everybody needs to do prior to moving forward. So the first 5 steps include addressing your sleep, right? We have to fix your sleep problems. Number 2, we have to fix dehydration issues. Number 3, we have to address food toxins. Number 4, we have to address lack of exercise and optimize your movement. And then number 5, we have to install an emotional stress and trauma program. Now, that is the foundational health principles where we start. And after we address those issues, the next step is to move into addressing nutrition and hormone deficiencies. And this includes adrenal gland dysfunctions, thyroid gland dysfunctions, sex hormone dysfunctions, specific nutrient deficiencies, and digestive health. Now, I can tell you from personal experience that over 70% of my patients are going to eliminate their fatigue, dramatically drive up their energy, only by addressing the foundational health principles and nutrition and hormone deficiencies. The rest of the population needs to take it a step further and begin addressing toxicity and chronic infections. And this includes knowing how to identify mold toxicity and then how to actually eliminate it for good, and then addressing heavy metals, chemicals, and electromagnetic frequencies, as well as the ability to properly diagnose chronic or latent gut infections and parasites. After that, the next and final step is the brain boosting and nervous system health program. And this is where we get into mitochondrial dysfunction as well as brain health, things like your neurotransmitters and chemical signaling that has to occur in the brain in order for everything to function properly. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of steps that have to happen to truly address your fatigue. And part of the problem with this whole concept of low energy and chronic fatigue syndrome and people who have fatigue issues is that their doctors are not addressing all of them. And here's how I like to explain it to my patients. Imagine if you had 15 screws or nails stuck in your foot, and we only removed 4 of them. Do you think you'd still have a problem? Do you think you'd still have pain? Of course you would. So the honest answer to solving fatigue is not just addressing 4 of these problems, but all 15, right? Addressing all 15 is what you have to do to finally solve your problems. You see, I've spent the last 15 years gathering data, treating patients, trials and tribulations, testing and retesting, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and I decided to put all of this information into one source to make it easier for my patients to follow, because after spending hundreds of hours with individual patients, I realized that I could just help more people if I just put it all in one program. So I created the Wake Up Energized system to help you to defeat your fatigue and increase your energy. So let's talk about this. Here's what you get basically with the Wake Up Energized system. It's a 15 module self-study course that goes much deeper on each of the 15 steps that you must absolutely go through to overcome your fatigue. These modules contain high-resolution videos on the how and the why for each step, as well as a treatment plan and specific action steps that you can follow. Now, considering the amount of time that it would take for me to deliver all this information, it would easily be over $1,200. I also include my 7-week roadmap, which literally lays out exactly what to do over the upcoming weeks, right? The next few weeks. And I created this because I've had so many people who said that they just wanted to plug in and follow a step-by-step program. So I now include this as part of this package. You also get my advanced toxicity protocols, where I get into the 4 most common toxins that we completely ignore: heavy metals, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and environmental pollutants. And I'm going to share with you how to test for these and, more importantly, how you can eliminate them. Finally, I include my Wake Up Energized manual, which contains dozens of delicious recipes that you can use during your program. So all of this altogether runs close to $2,000. So how cool is that? Right? You've got a complete program to address your fatigue issues, and it's going to walk you step by step on everything that you need to do to overcome your fatigue. But I've got something special. You get all that I just discussed, and I'm going to throw in a few bonuses for early adopters. In fact, if you purchase this program in the next few hours, I'm going to give you 3 months of personal email support. Now, I want you to know that my flat rate fee for all of my functional medicine patients that I see in Austin, Texas, for unlimited email and text support is $200 per month. So this bonus alone is worth your time and your health. Now, if you only got that, right? If you only got the 3 months of unlimited email and text support to ask me as many health questions about diet, exercise, supplements, anything you want, basically, I'm going to be your personal concierge doctor. Would it be worth the entire investment? Well, what if on top of that, you were getting something even more? And this leads me to bonus number 2. For everyone who buys right now, you're going to get my Habits of Success journal. Now, why am I giving this away? Because this by itself is an entire training manual that I've given to highly successful individuals who have taken the information in this bonus and completely transformed their personal and professional lives. So if you're going to be successful, paying for a program is sometimes not enough. You see, true change comes from commitment and habits. So I know that this bonus will help to equip you with the tools necessary to follow through and successfully beat not only for your fatigue, but even the other health problems that you may be experiencing. I know that information alone is not enough. Now, for the last several minutes, I've shared a ton of information with you, but as you know, information alone is not going to save you. You need this program to finally defeat your fatigue, because that's what's going to help you to get to the next level in overcoming it and actually driving up your energy. And to top it all off, I've got another bonus to make sure that you get the absolute best value that I can offer. So bonus number 3 is going to be a one-on-one consult with myself. Now realize that my flat rate offer is $495 per hour. And that basically, this is the reason why I'm offering this, is to ensure that you get the most out of this program on a personalized one-to-one level. I am going to be giving you this consult completely free, so that way I can give you the most that I can possibly give. So once again, not only are you getting the 15-module self-study course, the 7-week roadmap, my advanced toxicity protocols, all the Wake Up Energized recipes, you're also going to get bonus number 1, which is unlimited email and text support for 3 months. You're going to get bonus number 2, which is the Habits of Success Journal, which is going to help you to break old habits and replace them with positive, successful ones. You're also going to get bonus number 3, which is a one-on-one consult. And altogether, this brings the entire program up to a value of over $3,000. Now, the good news is that you're not going to be paying that amount today. For a limited time and a limited number of people, I've got a special offer for you. The good news is that you can get started today for only $147. The bad news is that I can't keep it at this price for too long. So I'm limiting this promotion to only 20 people. And why is that? Well, first of all, because I only have so much time during the week that I can actually dedicate myself to these one-on-one consults, because I put my heart and my soul and pour all my energy into working with you. So I value my time and I value my work, and so of course I have to limit it. Look, the reality is that there's 2 types of people right now who are listening to this webinar. I know this because I do these all the time. Right now, there's the timid, nervous person who gets on here and they think it's cool and it all sounds great and it all makes sense and they know it and they want to do it, but they just don't take action. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like working with those people because these people, I'm just going to say, they're just not ever successful. And while I want them to be, nothing more, right? I want them just to be healthy and full of energy. I can't do it for them, and I'm not I'm not willing to lose my time over it because they're not willing to help themselves. The people that I like to work with are people like us. They get on this webinar, they hear the information, they understand it, they decide to step up, and then boom, they produce the results, they come out here and get everything that they want out of it, and they make things happen. So I'm going to be asking you guys, which one are you? Are you the person on the left, or are you the person on the right? You see, this guy will probably get tired and hang up on the webinar right now. And I'm not here to make you or anyone on this webinar feel bad, but I'm also not here to sugarcoat anything. So if you're ready to make some massive action in your life and do some cool stuff and change your life for the better, if you want to join us, okay, right now is the time to do it. You can sign up now. All you have to do is just click the link and we're going to get started. You know, I'm so confident in this program that I'm even going to give you a 30-day test drive. And if you go through all the modules, you complete every single section and watch all the videos and follow every single recommendation and you don't get any results, then I'll refund your money 100%, no questions asked. So it's completely risk-free and you still get all the bonuses, including the one-on-one consult. I mean, seriously, I cannot give you any more than that. Once again, you can get started today for only $147. And remember, I cannot keep the price at this level, so I'm limiting this promotion to only 20 people. Now, I promised that anyone who stayed to the end would get my 7 Steps to Better Sleep manual. So here's the link where you can go and get it. And all you have to do is navigate to this webpage and it'll be there completely free for you to download. Look, I hope that every single one of you enjoyed the webinar. I thank you and I truly hope that we can have a one-on-one consult soon and start working together and getting you to where you deserve to be when it comes to having unlimited energy and vitality.